A giant panda falling down a hill should not be this funny. It is a bear. It has claws, muscle, jaws, and the evolutionary background of a carnivore. It comes from the same larger order of mammals as wolves, lions, seals, hyenas, and polar bears. This is not supposed to be an animal that looks like your drunk uncle trying to get off the couch after Thanksgiving dinner, but somehow, the panda became both. It rolls, it slips, it falls out of trees. It sits with its legs open, belly forward, chewing bamboo with the defeated confidence of a man who has accepted that the holiday meal won. A baby panda climbing a tree can look heroic for about 4 seconds. Then gravity arrives, and the panda remembers it is shaped like a beanbag with paws. But the comedy hides something much older. The giant panda is a carnivore that mostly stopped eating meat. A bear that built its life around bamboo. A powerful animal that survives by conserving energy. A climber shaped like a couch cushion. For millions of years, this strange design worked. The panda found a way to live in China's mountain forests on a food most large mammals could not use well. It avoided much of the competition that shaped other predators. It survived by becoming less like a normal bear. Then humans changed the forest. The animal that had spent millions of years narrowing its world around bamboo suddenly faced roads, farms, logging, and broken habitat. The mountain world that sustained it was cut into pieces. A hidden survivor became an endangered symbol. A half-known mountain creature became the face of conservation itself. And then, in one of the stranger outcomes in wildlife history, the panda survived again. Not by evolving. Not by changing its diet. Not by moving somewhere new. It survived by making humans care. Long before pandas became black and white icons, their ancestors were bears with options. In the highlands and mountain forests of China, an omnivorous bear could have eaten the way many bears still eat today. Roots, bulbs, eggs, insects, berries, carcasses, and small animals moving through the undergrowth. The forest offered a changing menu, but all around that menu was bamboo. It grew in thick stands across the slopes and valleys. It filled the understory. It returned after being eaten. It was everywhere, but it was difficult food. Bamboo is tough, fibrous, and low in easy energy for most large mammals. Building an entire life around it would be a terrible trade. But bamboo had one advantage no animal prey could offer. It did not run. It did not hide. It did not fight back for a bear lineage in a crowded forest that mattered. Bamboo was not the richest food, but it was the food that was always there. So the panda began evolving toward abundance. Its skull became stronger. Its jaw muscles became larger. Its molars became broad and flat for crushing stems and grinding leaves. The round head that makes a panda look soft and toy-like is partly the result of powerful chewing muscles. And then there is the thumb. The panda's thumb is not really a thumb. It is an enlarged wrist bone called the radial sesamoid, repurposed into a gripping tool. The panda did not grow a new finger. It took a small bone already in the wrist and made it useful. That false thumb lets the panda hold bamboo with surprising control. When it sits upright, pulls a stem into its paws, rotates it, and strips the leaves, that is not just cute behavior. It is millions of years of anatomical problem solving. It is also a compromise. The false thumb helps handle bamboo, but the panda still has to walk on that paw. It could not become too large without interfering with movement across steep mountain terrain. Like so much of the panda's body, it is not perfect. It is good enough to grip bamboo, good enough to crush it, good enough to survive where other bears could not. Here is the strangest part of what the panda became. It eats like an herbivore, but inside, it still carries the digestive system of a carnivore. A cow has specialized stomach chambers to break down plant material. Many plant eaters have evolved elaborate ways to extract energy from tough vegetation. The panda has not. Its gut is still short and relatively simple, closer to a carnivore's than a grazing animal's. When bamboo passes through a panda's body, much of the energy remains locked away. The panda is trying to live on a food it was never fully built to digest. So it solves the problem in the most panda way possible. It eats almost constantly. A giant panda can spend 10 to 16 hours a day chewing through bamboo. It may need 30 to 40 pounds a day just to get enough energy to function. What looks like laziness is survival arithmetic. If the food is poor, eat more of it. If energy is limited, waste less of it. That is why pandas move slowly, sleep often, and avoid unnecessary exertion. They are not trying to win the Forest Olympics. They are trying to make bamboo work. But the bamboo diet did not turn adult pandas into helpless prey. A grown panda is still a bear. It has powerful jaws, strong limbs, sharp claws, and enough size to make most predators think carefully. An adult panda may look ridiculous rolling down a hill, but it is not an animal many creatures would casually attack. The real danger came from the forest itself. Bamboo flowers and dies in large, synchronized waves. Sometimes whole areas of bamboo can die back, leaving pandas without their main food source. Historically, pandas could move to places where other bamboo species were still growing. But once humans fragmented the forest, those escape routes began closing. A panda that once had an entire mountain range to navigate began facing patches of bamboo separated by roads, farms, and villages. The animal that evolved to survive on an imperfect food was now losing the ability to find it. For an animal that now feels inseparable from modern China, the panda spent most of history strangely out of focus. People living near panda habitat knew it existed. Skins were traded. Unusual bears were described in regional accounts. But the panda did not stand at the center of Chinese culture alongside the tiger, crane, phoenix, or dragon. It lived in dense bamboo forests on steep mountain slopes most people would never enter. So the panda became less a cultural icon and more a regional rumor. Across Chinese history, panda-like animals appeared under different names. Some accounts called them white bears, some called them flower bears, some used the name mo, and in some older descriptions, the animal was said to eat copper and iron. That sounds absurd now, but there may be a practical root to it. Pandas have been documented licking and chewing metal objects, likely seeking minerals or salt. An observer who found a bent or damaged cooking pot near panda habitat might have drawn the wrong conclusion and repeated it. But as folklore, the image is fascinating. The animal that now sits in bamboo, looking like it lost an argument with lunch, was once remembered as a creature that could eat metal. Real enough to leave traces, hidden enough to become distorted. The modern scientific encounter arrived in 1869, when the French missionary and naturalist Armand David was shown a panda skin in Sichuan province. David understood he was looking at something new to Western science. A black and white bear, powerfully built, living high on mountain bamboo slopes. To Western scientists, the giant panda became a zoological puzzle. Was it a bear? Was it closer to the red panda? Modern genetic analysis eventually confirmed it as a true bear, but one that had diverged from other bears millions of years ago and followed its own strange path. The mountain ghost was being named, And once an animal gets a name in the Western scientific world of the 19th and early 20th century, what usually followed was not protection. It was collection. When the Western world became seriously interested in the giant panda, conservation was not the priority. Rare animals were prizes. Museums wanted specimens. Zoos wanted living attractions. Explorers wanted proof of their expeditions. The first live giant panda to reach the United States arrived in 1936, brought by Ruth Harkness, who carried a cub named Su Lin out of China, wrapped in a blanket. Su Lin became a sensation at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago. That moment revealed something powerful. The panda's face had an almost unfair advantage in the human mind. The round skull, dark eye patches, soft contrast, and awkward posture made it feel familiar even when it was completely wild. The panda did not evolve to be cute. It evolved jaw muscles so large they helped create a round head. But the side effect was a face that looked almost impossibly endearing. A tiger becomes a symbol of fear or power. An eagle becomes a symbol of dominance. A wolf divides opinion. The panda became a symbol of, please do not let this disappear. That transformation became even stronger on April 16, 1972, when two giant pandas arrived at the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Their names were Ling Ling and Ha Sing Sing. They came as a gift from China to the United States after President Nixon's visit. The pandas became celebrities. People lined up for hours. Newspapers covered them. Children knew their names. And because pandas are pandas, they did not need to do much. They could sit there chewing, fall asleep in an awkward position, roll slightly to one side, and the crowd would melt. A panda can lean against a log like it just lost a long argument with lunch, and people will stand in line for hours. Ling Ling died in 1992. Ha Sing Sing lived until 1999. Between them, they helped shape how an entire generation understood pandas. And through pandas, wildlife conservation itself. But while crowds gathered at the zoo, wild pandas were in trouble. In 1984, the United States listed the giant panda as endangered under the Endangered Species Act. In 1990, the IUCN classified it as endangered on its global red list. Estimates varied, but the wild population may have fallen to around 1,000 animals, scattered across fragmented mountain habitat in Sichuan, Shanxi, and Gansu. The funny bear had become one of the clearest faces of extinction. Here is the part of the panda story that gets lost inside all the cuteness. Saving the panda was never really about the panda. It was about the forest. Wild pandas do not need humans involved in their daily lives. They need connected bamboo forest, large enough to support real populations, intact enough to allow movement between groups, and stable enough to survive the natural cycles of bamboo die-off that shaped panda life for millions of years. When humans fragment that forest, pandas do not simply adapt. They cannot switch to a different food. They cannot establish territories in open farmland. They cannot cross major roads the way foxes or raccoons might. The panda's body spent millions of years narrowing itself around one habitat. Remove that habitat, even partially, and you remove the conditions that allow the animal to function. This is why habitat fragmentation is so dangerous. You do not have to kill every panda. You only have to break the world that lets pandas find one another. A valley cleared for farming can separate one population from another. A road can make a nearby forest unreachable. A settlement can block the mountain corridor that once allowed young pandas to disperse and find mates. Over time, isolated groups lose genetic exchange. the species does not go out dramatically. It quietly contracts. The conservation response was not simple or fast. China established the first panda nature reserves in the 1960s, and the reserve network expanded significantly in later decades. By the early 2000s, China was expanding protected areas, creating wildlife corridors, cracking down on poaching, relocating some human settlements from critical habitat, and funding research into panda biology, reproduction, and bamboo ecology. International zoos became partners in breeding research. Scientists studied panda fertility in detail. A female panda is only fertile for a brief window each year, sometimes as short as 1 to 3 days, making captive breeding genuinely difficult. The WWF, which adopted the panda as its logo in 1961, helped turn international attention into funding and pressure. People came for the face, they stayed for the forest, and it worked more than most conservation stories do. In 2016, after decades of sustained effort, the IUCN changed the giant panda's conservation status from endangered to vulnerable. Wild population estimates had grown to around 1,800 animals. Habitat coverage had increased. Panda reserves had expanded. Corridors were being built or restored. Vulnerable is not safe. It still means threatened. It still means the panda's survival depends on continued choices about land, development, and climate. The work is not finished, but something rare had happened. An animal that was clearly declining reversed course. Not because it evolved new abilities, not because it found a new food or moved somewhere new, but because enough humans decided that keeping this animal alive was worth the sustained effort. The panda did not save itself. It made humans want to save it. A bear that survived by becoming just efficient enough forced humans to become just responsible enough. The panda is still here because its face made people care. But it stayed here because people finally understood that caring only matters when it protects the forest.